Hi everyone, it's Alex from Risk Academy, and in this video I wanted to talk about risk culture and how do you promote risk-aware culture within the organization. And there are multiple softer measures, which I had plenty of videos on this channel in the past. And if you subscribe to the Risk Academy channel on YouTube, then you'll be able to search for risk culture, and you'll find quite a lot of material on that topic. But the softer measures is like, changing the job descriptions when hiring, adding sprinkling few elements that risk-based thinking is a requirement. And people are responsible for owning and taking the right amount of risks within their area of responsibility. Then the other measures are, of course, training, having risk committees, so having some sort of central place for discussion and reinforcement of risk messages, having the senior managers mention how important risk-based thinking and risk-based decision-making is for the organization. Demonstration from the executives to pause and think about risks before making important decisions. All of these kind of softer measures are very, very important. But in this video, I want to talk about the hard measure, the hardcore measure, which very few organizations on the planet implement. And that's two things: changing how business makes decisions. So I've literally went into procedure documents and frameworks and guidelines, internal documentation for an organization, and I've changed how decisions are prepared, presented, discussed, and documented and monitored. So I would sprinkle risk management all over existing policies and frameworks and procedure documents, implying that whenever something is presented, it has to include scenarios, it has to include elements of risk analysis, it has to compare the risk versus reward for different alternatives. So that's number one, changing, almost forcing people to play along and conduct risk analysis before making important decisions. But then the second one is even scarier, is changing how people are motivated, how they're remunerated, changing their bonus structure to be rewarded not just for performance, numbers, dollars, but for risk-adjusted performance. They've done well, they've achieved a lot, but they've also done that within the risk exposure that is acceptable for the company, or there's some sort of formula for calculating risk-adjusted performance. And these two things, in my experience, really get your attention. Because you can do all sorts of training and then people choose to attend it, and then even if they like it and they attend it, they don't necessarily follow the things. But when their motivation depends on it, suddenly everybody starts paying attention. The trouble is that people are very, very clever, and so when you are changing the way they're remunerated, the downside, of course, that has to be done by a professional. Don't dream for a second that you can just attempt to do it and it will be easy and everything will work perfectly, because people will immediately start thinking of ways to game the system. And you need professionals to create the right remuneration structure, the right motivation, the long-term risk-reward balance motivation, the motivation for taking the right amount of risks and taking the risks that are appropriate, not just in the short term, but also in the long term for organizations, because so many financial services have been burned on that when they created short-term incentives, and people just absorbed so much extra risk just for that short-term motivation. So it's a challenge, but it's an interesting one. And let me know how it goes in your organization. Let me know what other things you do to encourage culture, either soft or hard. And don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and I'll see you in the next video.